and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, good job. Okay, Madam Clerk, I'm going to send it to you. Call the roll.
Mr. Officer? Mr. Esquaga?
Here.
Councilwoman Bybee?
Here.
Mr. Crono?
Here.
Mr. East?
Here.
Commissioner Hill?
Here.
Ms. Young?
Here.
Mr. Long?
Here.
And Chair Sheeby?
All right, I'm here. Thank you so much. Okay, I just want to ask you, do we have any public comment?
We have one public comment via a letter that you have in front of
Submitted?
you. Yeah, so
Okay, everyone's received it.
The minutes.
Perfect. Okay, that's great. And then, let's see, we are going to head into, would you like me to take consent first and then over to Molly? Okay, let's just get some items of business out of the way. We're gonna head into consent agenda. So there are C1, C2, C3. Does anyone want to pull any items off this consent? No? All right, I would love to get a motion for approval.
I move to approve consent agenda as presented.
Thank you, Councilwoman. I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Okay, at this time, I'm actually going to send it over to Molly.
And I'm gonna request that we go into an attorney-client privilege meeting in the room next door.
Okay.
Right.
But you can still do that.
Yeah.
That's an exception.
Right.
your regularly scheduled
Yeah.
program. Uh, oh,
We called it.
I'm so sorry, Molly. We forgot Eddie.
Oh, he wasn't here for roll call, so I didn't
Right,
realize.
oh,
I
okay.
apologize.
No, it's okay, if maybe you could,
I will update him. I will call him.
that would be
Okay.
great. Okay, so sorry, Eddie. We forgot you. Okay. Well, I'm excited. These are always my favorite presentations. Christina, I am going to send it to you to open up this one because we have two dynamic duos here with us, and so these are always my favorite. So I'm gonna give you the floor.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Yes, we're so excited. I'm actually gonna pass over to Mr. McDonald here in a minute, but we are so excited to have our public relation agency partners with us today, both Decker Royal and Good Giant, to provide an update on all the great work they've accomplished this past year and moving forward.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, so just a quick reminder, heading into fiscal year 25, we went out to RFP on both our national PR agency of record. We selected Decker Royal Agency. They've been with us for about 8 years. And then also a new initiative to try to create some more impact in the community and talk about what Tahoe means to the economic engine that is Northern Nevada. We enlisted the help of Good Giant, and Jenny's with us here with them today. And without further ado, we will get on our updates for the fiscal year 25, and we'll give you a little tease on what's to come in the current fiscal year. And from Decker Royal is Kathy Decker, Melanie Ehrlich, and
Yay!
thank you guys for coming.
Oh,
Thank you for having us.
I have to say, I also take envy to come to town. I love being back. I feel like I'm home. So to me, this is great. So, I'm Kathy Decker. I'm the Decker and Decker Royal. And today I'm gonna switch, you can see, although I have the 18 with me, your senior account executive, Ally, and Mel, who's our county supervisor in town. They really are the engine that runs your account and are here. In fact, Ally will be here next week because she's bringing press back to town. But the reason this slide is up is to say that there's more of us that support your work that are not with you here today. And I think it's nice to just let you know. In addition to the A team, we also have a VP, Kristen Slight, who actually cut her teeth on your account. Some of you know Kristen very well. Devin Barker. And there's, I just have to say, Stacey Royal is disappointed that she's not here, but if it were not for the Jewish holiday, she would be beside me, my partner in crime. She also loves to be in town. And so she says hello, but and apologizes for not being here. There's one person whose picture you will see up here, who you don't really see in town so much, but I think is important to mention, and that is Lindsay Stein. And one of the things that we do at Decker Royal that's a little bit different, most, I think, agencies are account driven. You're all familiar with that system. You see us here all the time. But one of the things I think that we do that makes us really effective is having a team that is dedicated solely to the media. And that's Lindsay Stein. In addition to working for us, she's also a byline journalist. And I think her relationships with the media directly, where she can speak across accounts and across trends, really makes us effective. And so all of that is to say, these are the people who support you here and at home. We have had the pleasure of working with you for 8 years. We're really proud of that. We've told over 1,500 stories. We've had a $28 billion reach, and that sort of converts to about $250 million worth of comparable advertising value. But this is really about taking a brief look, and I'm going to have the team do that, about the work that we've done last year as we look ahead. You'll see 190 stories, almost 5 billion in reach for the last fiscal year, $44 million worth of comparable advertising value, feature stories, and you'll see 50% increase in feature stories. We get that when we bring media to your town, which you think is the best way to tell stories. You'll see Mike and others creating thought leadership. They talk about your expertise. It's great. And then of course, 310 backlinks. And this is that me?
No.
I want to make sure I'm not talking to myself because that does sometimes happen. But the backlinks are important, and we met with your stakeholders yesterday, and we know that at the end of the day, they want work that drives business to them, and that's part of it too. This is just a little, a look at year over year. We've doubled our impact in the marketplace, but more important than that, as we start to look forward, is we are on track to do better than we did this past fiscal. And that's all about building momentum, but I'm going to let the team talk about the nitty gritty of how we got to where we are.
So when we first started working with you, a lot of what we talked about was how we can shift the perception of Reno and how we can really define what Reno is. And as Kathy mentioned, we are constantly bringing journalists to the destination, and every time they come, their expectations are defined. Inside Hub called Reno Tahoe an unexpected destination that travelers should have on their travel list alongside cities like Columbus, Ohio, and Buffalo, New York. And the journalist described it as a city with the best of both worlds, where you can have the glitzy nightlife of the casinos like Caesars Entertainment, but you can also have the culture of the museums like the National Automobile Museum and the food and beverage of the Emerson and Louis Bass Corner. We also had a journalist come to the destination that called Reno Tahoe a fun and funky place to visit after seeing the art museums and the public art, and also checking out Junkie Clothing Exchange. And that story then syndicated to over 30 publications throughout the destination. And we also had BuzzFeed in town earlier this summer, and they called Reno a city that is alive and vibing with tons of festivals that people can do and activities they can have every single weekend. But Reno Tahoe is more than just the city. It also has outdoor adventure that you can do while you are visiting the city as well. So you can go to the ski season. As we approach that, we are always making sure that there is coverage of the ski season, and ski magazine called Mount Rose and the Reno area the best underrated ski area for experts. And the Appriss Chronicles had a complete guide to North Lake Tahoe skiing. But Reno is a 4-season destination, and the summer is just as exciting as the winter. We had USA Today called Sand Harbor one of the best state parks that is just as awesome as some of our national parks. And US News and World Report called Lake Tahoe one of the top lake vacations in the United States. And then Palisades was named one of the best spring ski destinations, with Reno as a place that you can come back to after your day on the mountain to enjoy some city life. And Reno is also a cultural hub. It has eclectic museums, interesting food, and lots more, from their festivals to the museums as well. Food and Wine, which is one of the top food and beverage outlets in the country, called Reno's food scene, definitely worth the trip. Naming places like Louis Bass Corner and Death and Taxes and Aurorio as places that travelers should check out when they visit the destination. And Time Out and Canadian World Traveler talked about Reno as a top summer destination where travelers can have a bunch of festivals, from the Reno Rodeo to the Reno River Fest, and of course, Art Town. And She Buys Travel talks about what you can do in addition to the casinos, with a full day itinerary highlighting the museums, from the Nevada Museum of Art to the National Automobile Museum. And that story also syndicated to 30+ outlets throughout the country. And Eater, another top food outlet, called Reno a great place that has a serious culinary scene that is really showing momentum. And now I'm going to throw it out there for some more.
Awesome, thank you, Mel. So we know that heads in beds is one of our main goals. The more people who visit and stay in our properties, the more money everyone makes. So these are a few of our awesome lodging spotlights from the last year. Canadian World Traveler did a deep dive on Best Bet Motor Lodge right after it opened. We highlighted Atlantis Black Friday and Cyber Monday deal that got coverage on US News and World Report, but also a handful of others. That's one of the most talked about sales periods. Peppermill was spotlighted as a great place for spring break, and Whitney Peak was spotlighted in House Beautiful as a really walkable hotel with so many things around it. Stemming from a media visit we did last summer, New York Post did a summer destination guide for Reno Tahoe and really went into the Caesars Entertainment properties, highlighting El Dorado, Silver Legacy, and Circus Circus, highlighting how they're great for families, have awesome restaurants, and great nightlife. Now, we know that Reno is a destination for everyone, but we also know that travel is more personal than ever. Media are really looking for stories that target specific groups so that people can find exactly what they're looking for. We obviously know family travel is a huge one. Travel Pulse highlighted us as a family vacation destination that people have been missing, and Mike was spotlighted in that one. We were highlighted as a solo travel destination on Good Housekeeping. We've built a really great relationship with Pride Journeys, which is one of the top LGBTQ outlets, and Travel + Leisure spotlighted us as a really great romantic destination. And AARP is obviously a huge publication for older adults. They spotlighted why Lake Tahoe is an amazing place to visit, from accessible skiing in the ski resorts, but also ADA compliant attractions in Reno, from the museums and the Museum of Art.
We also know that meetings and events are very important to the destination, and it's something that we are continuously talking to journalists about. This year, we saw a 30% increase in coverage for our MICE offerings, and we also saw our ad value double year over year from our meetings and events coverage. We also secured nearly 30 thought leadership opportunities for Mike, and that's in both MICE publications and consumer outlets as well. And we sat down with Smart Meetings, Meetings Today, and Southwest Meetings and Events, among others, to talk about the valuable things that meetings and groups can have in Reno Tahoe. And one of those feature stories is from Meetings Today, which defined Reno Tahoe region as a standout meetings and events destination for both its outdoor adventure in Lake Tahoe and also its urban and gaming offerings in Reno. And then, of course, this year was a very big deal for the opening season of the indoor track, and we worked with key sports and travel media to highlight the innovative new space. We secured 14 national stories with a total potential reach of 155, and that equated to about 1 million in ad value. From some of those stories, we had Meeting Spotlight cover the opening of the track, as well as Sports Business Journal, which was from an interview that we secured with Mike. And then also we had 2 journalists come to the opening of the Reno track from Fansided and Sports Travel Magazine to talk about the atmosphere and the economic impact that the track was going to bring to the destination. Sports Travel also wrote a second story about the vibe and the feel of the track at the first meet, and emphasized how this was a big deal for the West Coast with only 4 indoor tracks in the area, and also the economic impact that would bring more attraction and sports tourism to the destination. We also know that awards are very important. We are consistently making sure that the destination and the meetings facilities are on the radar for every single MICE award. This past year, Mike was honored at the Catalyst Awards for Smart Meetings, and the destination was one of the best meetings for Meetings Today. This year, after the opening of the indoor track, Smart Meetings highlighted the CBB as the best sporty CBB, and Shelley Fine was recognized for her work with the track in Smart Women in Meetings from Smart Meetings, among other awards as well. Yeah,
So they let me talk about the best stuff. I really appreciate that. So we have, so you can see this was a really productive fiscal year for us. I think we did some really nice work that really hit the buttons that were important, as particularly closing with the track. But we're in a new year. And so we want to give you a little taste of the things that that we've already produced this year that we're really excited about. One of the things that you can see up here is the Hit and Sunset magazine. And that's really important to you because it hits a key drive-to market in California. But the thing I want to point out about that, because we really do appreciate that, and we know the marketing that goes into trying to get folks to get here. But when you get a clip that says, this is the next food destination in Food and Wine magazine, that is a really great way to start your fiscal. Because although we all read Food and Wine magazine, every important culinary writer in America also reads Food and Wine magazine. So good coverage, as we always say, begets better coverage. And that's what we're excited about. I talked about building momentum. That's what these kind of clips do. And that's what we want to do. Matador Network, I mean, this is a big one. I know that you also work with them. And this is really talking about, you know, that some people still think of us as a mini Vegas, but we are not a mini Vegas. We are authentically ourselves, and we are worthy and good building the stuff that makes a difference. And we can see that because we've already got 40 stories this year so far. We've already hit 2.5 billion in reach and have an ad equivalent of $23 million. So we are already 50% in ad value as we were year over year. It's a nice way to, I think it's a nice way to begin. But looking ahead is even better. So we thank you for the time and we thank you for your confidence in us.
Okay, that was fantastic. Okay, yeah, we wanna see, we wanna see.
We just wanted to do a quick look at what we're doing this year to keep up that awesome momentum and keep the coverage.
Yeah, we
going.
love that. Let's see it.
These are some of our always on angles, things that journalists are always looking for. They never go out of style. From seasonal stories, obviously, we're a great ski destination, summer family vacation spot, great fall foliage, new and noteworthy experiences. Media love new things. We love highlighting our renovations, our new restaurants, even a new cocktail is interesting. Where to go columns are awesome for highlighting our events because our events are a huge part of what we are and something we want to keep bringing people to. Deals and contests, as I mentioned, Black Friday is huge, but we also know we do a lot of smaller contests for our events where people can apply and hopefully win a stay. So we're always leveraging those. These are just a taste of some of the stories we're proactively telling, leveraging some of our strongest storylines. We love to highlight the destination as the perfect 72-hour getaway, especially for Western travelers. Since we know that we have a lot of people coming from California and a lot of people arriving from car, we love to reach those West Coast publications like Kathy said, Sunset, that really help bring in those key markets. We also love talking about multi-gen memory making. We know multi-gen travel is not slowing down. Everything from 2-year-olds to great grandparents are looking for a destination that has something for everyone, which we really do. The culinary scene, we have an amazing culinary scene, as Kathy said, on our food and wine spotlight. But we have so many awesome craft breweries, farm to table restaurants that we're really trying to spotlight that as well. And then we love working with what we have, but we thought this was a really fun idea of something that we could create to make a buzzworthy moment together. So obviously Reno is huge on art. We got a tour of the amazing pieces in this building, which really helped inspire it. We were proposing an interactive art experience, a larger than life mural that is almost paint by number style, where visitors, locals, and of course media can come try it out, paint a little piece of the art, and then we have a mural that's created by people who make the destination. This is awesome for us to pitch as before it even happens, when it's happening, and people have to experience it, and then it lasts as an ongoing installation. And I know Jen is also really excited about this, to work on it on a local and national level, and we like this artist, so we're already having our thoughts spinning. Yeah. And then we love to work with our partners. We had a really great stakeholder meeting yesterday. Lots of great people turned up, and we had some conversations afterwards about things that we can work to emphasize more. So love to work with our partners, love to work with Good Giant, trying to highlight the airport when we can. We know there's also great new flights coming in. So much progress down on the airport. Love the live music offering that's happening now. So continuing to highlight that, as well as our economic development, working with EDON. We actually have a press release coming up going into some of those results from last year. So always highlighting our growth.
And then again, like we talked about, we know how important MICE is to the destination, and we are continuing to tell those stories, like Ali mentioned, with economic growth and also what we're doing as far as new developments in the destination, whether it's renovations to the casino properties or the more RNOs, is infrastructure project at the airports. And we're consistently working on press releases and talking to media about the evolution of the destination and how the industry is moving forward. And with that, we're continuing to enter the destination into the top MICE industry awards from Smart Meetings, North Stars, Skift, BizBash, and of course PRSA from the work that you all do to help with the destination. And we will be continuing momentum talking about the track after the inaugural season, highlighting the top meets that are coming to the destination, key athlete moments, and how Reno is continuing to build itself as a leader in sports tourism. And lastly, like we talked about, seeing really is believing. Bringing media to the destination is the best way that we can secure top coverage. We've hosted over 120 journalists to the destination over the 8 years that we've worked with you all. And over 50% of our coverage from this past fiscal year was a result of a media visit, whether that is a journalist that visited recently, or we've had journalists that have visited 5+ years ago, and they're still including us in their coverage because they remember the destination. And this year we will continue that, hosting about 12 to 15 journalists. We've already had 3 come to the destination this fiscal year, and we have 5 coming in October alone. So thank you so much. We all appreciate working with you, and we're really excited to be here and continue working with you all in this next fiscal year.
Okay, well, that was exciting. I love it, love it, love it. Okay, Anything else? Do you have anything up your sleeve that we didn't talk about?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, don't we apologize for taking so much time, but
No,
that's
it's
it.
fine. We love to see our name in the press and
We love
those are,
you.
those are impressive numbers. Great job.
There's nothing better than when we wake up in the morning, check our email,
Yeah.
see an awesome.
I know
story
you get the
come in.
media alerts.
Yeah.
I get them
We get so
too.
excited.
We have, are you up next?
Yes.
Okay, before maybe we do that, what do you prefer? Do you want me to open up to the board for some questions for Decker Royal? Anyone want to do that, or would you like to go to the next presentation? Anyone have any questions? I think you had your hand up. Go right ahead.
Thank you so much, and I think that it's really exciting to see that all these publications are supporting the destination, and you're obviously working so hard to get the stories placed. I'm wondering, how do we leverage those stories and make them last longer for us? And maybe Christina's already thought about this, but ensuring, I don't know how many people are reading anymore. And so how do we get these journalists, because I'm noticing that more on TikTok, journalists are going on TikTok talking about their stories. And I'm like, how do we leverage that to make sure people who are reading the stories are hearing that message? And I don't know, you probably are.
I think, and Christina, you're split, if you're probably going to jump to, I think it's an excellent question and an extremely fair point. I do think that so much of the coverage that you're seeing is appearing in digital and so much is also appearing in print. But what I would say is the digital pieces are living forever. And the way that marketers used to do their search with SEO and the way that we traditionally understand it is changing, and it's changing super fast. Right now, every day in our office, we talk about the impact of AI and the way that AI and a lot of the large learning programs like the Claudes and the ChatGPTs and those folks are changing the way. So the stories that we're doing, because people aren't searching by Googling anymore that way. So they're talking to, this is true, I do call my AI when I'm working with them, Paul. And so I will say, Paul, I need blah, 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 blah. And Paul delivers. He never has to go to a yoga class either. But the reason I say that is because it's scraping the internet and it's looking for those stories. So in some ways, we see the work that we do to be more important, lasting longer in the universe and being not just something to build reputation, but to build business, because we know that that's what's happening. We know that's what's happening. So I think it's a really fair.
Yeah, and they're saying those stories are catching through the AI, and eventually, how many of you have actually ditched somewhat of Google and you go straight to AI?
Yeah.
Christina, right? And so actually, when those stories, to her point, they like the long form content, they like the background, they like that. So they're picking up on the story, so it actually really makes a difference of when people are going to start converting over to AI.
Yeah. If they love to pull things that have quotes too, so the more that we get Mike in there, they like to pull things that have strong leadership, insider things to pull them.
Instead of just the little explanation, they
Yeah.
love the stories because of that, because AI is trying to say, we want to build better content for everyone, so the story is what matters, it's the depth of that. Now, what I would say, Christina, and I actually think this is a really, really good idea. There's something I like to call low-lying fruit, right? And we all have media platforms from City of Sparks, you guys, and I'm curious to know what our hotels are doing. Whenever do you get this content and are they sharing it? And at the city of Reno and the county, we all have a digital platform in some capacity. There are even times where I think we get caught up in the same content of our content creators. And I think if there is a way to say, we have this incredible content and they can use that content, because sometimes they get a little bit of like, what should I post? This is a really nice way to say, did you know about a region or just some of these things? What I think would be very beneficial to all of us actually is getting the creators from the hotels in the room, from the other entities where there is a distribution channel, their own, to be able to really leverage this, because I mean, I haven't even seen the city do it. And I think it's just such a great way to tell more of that story, get more of the reach, but we don't leverage it. So you might want to think, Christina, you could do a little like content creators day for the hotels and for these other entities, even from RTC. We all have these digital channels, and you know what's great about it? Our content creators, then they don't have to think about the incredible story they're gonna tell. They can just reshare Sunset Magazine, right? So it's such an easy win, but we should all be leveraging those channels that you guys already have in place. So if there's some way to kind of do that, it would be really cool to see what the reach is, but you can tie it back to the ROI.
I'd
love
say
that. Yeah.
our media partners too, they love it when you share.
Oh, yeah.
When you're
they do.
pushing out
Right.
the
The more you
content,
share,
it's
the more,
done, and
yeah.
you're- And for a
Your
lot
rates
of
is
our
higher, too.
freelance partners, remember, some media's changed so much that the editorial staffs have been gutted, right? So they rely on freelancers. And a lot of editors will make a decision on a freelancer they're gonna choose to send based on how much their content is engaged with in other
Yeah.
channels. It is, you know, it is really becoming more and more like that. So if you're pushing out on your own channels and celebrating the work that we're doing, media love that.
I think
And
that's
sharing
their
their
stories when they're in destinations too.
Yeah.
A lot of our journalists, you know, they're posting stuff. So if you wanna do collaborative posts with them, that's something as well to show that media artists in destination from your followers too.
Someone can make a lot of money if you build a site where you plug in those partners already or people that are related to you. And then they're sharing it and vice versa,
Yeah.
right?
I do like that idea that you brought up of maybe even an in-person, we do, this is a friendly reminder
I
for
wanna do it
everyone
for a
to
day.
follow our community newsletter where they
Yeah.
dive into our Q&A.
Yeah.
To follow us on our social media channels because it does get distributed there, not to spoil Jen's great effort, but Good Giant really does a nice job of localizing, I would call it, some of the national PR that we get, and they try to push it out to our channels too. So we are trying that, but as we say, seeing is believing, and I like that point of maybe we just need to get everyone in a room more and just face to face, you guys
We're
really
gonna
need
do
help.
creator camp.
sharing this.
Local creator camp.
Yes, exactly.
So Christina's creator camp. Okay, we're gonna put it on the books. We're gonna do it. I mean, even from the airport, right? Like, it could be great. And Greg, all of your people.
Chamber,
Right.
everybody.
So I would love to see that. So just,
Everybody.
let's add more to Christina.
There's not enough.
Okay, that's awesome. Great job, you guys. So good.
Thank you.
Okay. You're up.
Like there's magic happening over here.
Yeah.
No, there's a wizard behind the scenes. Screw it up here, I love it. All right, well, this is getting cute. Oh, there we go. Okay, thanks for having me this morning. I'm Jen Eastwood. I'm with Good Giant. We're your local PR firm. We've been working with you guys for about a year now. So as Jen said, I'm gonna go through a little bit of what we've done over the past year and queue up what we're doing next. Just a little bit about Good Giant. We've got offices. We're based here in Reno. The whole PR team is here in the Reno office. But we also have folks in Vegas, Mobile, Alabama, Chicago, and Tulsa. We've got about 120 team members nationwide. Our client portfolio, we do a lot in the tourism, hospitality, a lot of gaming, entertainment, and sports. And really our role as your in-state PR team is we serve as an extension to Ben and Celeste and the communications team. We take a lot of what Decker Royal does on a national level, we localize it, we package that message so it makes sense for our residents here in town. And what we're contracted to do. So our scope is pretty straightforward. We plan and execute community-focused PR campaigns. We are growing our strong local media relationships. We're keeping a steady flow of press releases going out to the media, keeping them informed about all of the great things Visit Reno Tahoe is doing. We're also responsive to inbound requests. We provide monthly media impact reports so you can see what the work we're doing, what the effects of that is. And we're always collaborating with the team, both the Decker Royal team, as well as marketing and web teams to make sure that we've got messaging consistency. So some of the ways that we highlight Reno Tahoe's value is to the community is through storytelling. Really, a lot of what we're focusing on is narratives that emphasize how tourism drives our economy, creates jobs, supports workforce development. We highlight the vibrant experiences that events and venues have to the region. The role of Visit Reno Tahoe is a great place to work. The organization's great leadership in tourism and venue management. And these themes really consistently reinforce why Reno Tahoe matters to locals as well as to tourists.
Where can I do that?
That's at the
That's-
marina.
Not
That's-
far.
Yeah, Glenn, I'll show you.
That's where I thought.
I don't do that.
I thought it was in Venice.
It looks like
We got a
that.
mini one.
That's where you wanna go to Venice.
All right, like the other team presented, just a little look at the numbers. So for that first fiscal year, which we really looked at our benchmarking year, this is a new venture, really working with the local media and putting an emphasis on that. We sent out 36 press releases and pitches. We coordinated 15 interviews with Mike alone. That resulted in 348 media mentions from those direct pitching efforts. That reached an audience of nearly 3 million and a publicity value of nearly 500,000. Digging into those results just a little bit more. And I think what really stands out is just the breadth of coverage that we were able to get. And also just focusing on some of those key messages. So we made sure that each of our press releases focused on these different messaging buckets. So really focused on economic growth, our vibrant community, and the experiences you can have through events and also the various venues. Visit Reno Tahoe as a desirable and engaged employer. And then of course, just highlighting the leadership in tourism and venue management that the Visit Reno Tahoe leadership and team brings to the table. And then we just wanted to highlight some of the quotes that we were able to get from Mike. Really, Mike's voice has been front and center in many of these stories. The Decker Royal team highlighted this as well. This really just adds credibility and trust. And his perspective kind of connects the dots, we think, between tourism and the local community. We just got a smattering of media highlights for you here. So we just wanted to share some of the standout media placements. Each one reinforces the core messages that we're trying to get across to our local community. These highlights show that local media is paying attention and are helping us tell your story. Coverage includes features on public bowling days, large-scale conventions. Of course, the indoor track was a huge one, and then local art scene. And looking ahead. So some of our objectives for the next fiscal year, we really want to build on the momentum that we set for the first year. We've established a strong baseline, but now it's about continuing to tell fresh stories, maintain media relationships, be proactive about the opportunities that we're presented with, and highlight Reno Tahoe's leadership and impact. So we get a chance to lean into some of the new storylines that we're looking at, and then also doubling down on what's already been really effective for us. You'll see some similar themes to what the Decker team presented. Really, we're looking at Reno Tahoe as a year-round destination. Of course, we're looking for fresh story angles that keep the destination top of mind locally throughout the year. What's new and what's next? As they said, media is always looking for that new and next kind of story initiative. We're looking at urban core revitalization, continuing to tell stories about placemaking, murals on the riverfront, community events, destination defining events. You all know our events are so exciting and the media loves to cover that. So that's something that we focus on. And then sports and convention tourism, really spotlighting the venues that you guys manage, the economic impacts, and Reno Tahoe as a premier host for all of those sports and tourism events. This is just so far in the fiscal year, some of the numbers that we've seen. That's 97 mentions, 885 in potential reach for our audience, and 132,000 in publicity value. And really these numbers, some people can refer to them as vanity metrics. We use them as a benchmark, right? We're not hanging our hat on these numbers. As such, just looking at our momentum and how to increase those stories. Some of our media highlights for the first quarter are here. Sorry, this is small on screen. So we've got, we were proud to get some great coverage about USBC bowling tournament, adding the extra week for next year. That was a great story. We got some coverage about Las Vegas tourism facing challenges and how we're a little bit more resilient up here, what we're doing. We had some more stuff on the community bowling initiatives and more. So that wraps it up. We kept it short and brief. Oh, Ben looks like he wants to say something. No? Okay. Perfect. I just want to say, as a lifelong Reno resident and a proud evangelist of all things Reno, it's been a great pleasure to work on this account and to talk about all the great things that you guys are doing. So,
Well, we love your passion. Thank you. It really shows.
oh, great.
It really does. Okay, any questions for Good Giant? Go right ahead.
Yeah.
Jen, what do you think about the residents' sentiment on tourism? You see that changing just with your feeling out there and how receptive media and local media is to
I do.
Right,
I think it's changing. I think the stories that talk, I think drilling home the economic impact that tourism brings to the region, especially as we're starting to see stories about numbers being so down in Vegas and tariffs. And I mean, it is very front and center right now in the news. So I think continuing to highlight that is changing sentiment. And this isn't coming from, specific data points, but just a feeling. I think the feeling is trending into a more positive state.
And this organization is doing more than we ever have.
Absolutely.
Community, so I think that hopefully that's starting to pay off.
And I think the media has been very excited about that strengthening relationship and getting more information. Ben and Celeste did a great job before, but now that there's a greater emphasis on it, I think they're starting to see, I think they appreciate the transparency, the availability of leadership and the folks here that are talking about those kind of things. The media loves the story, so we'll just keep giving it to them.
And I would add, Mr. Long, to your point, it's the sum of all the parts, right? The whole that all makes up. It's not just the PR. It's the initiative to get the entire staff out in the community and, have a face to the name. That I think is really, with everything working together, starting to get people to ask more questions so that we can be more present and explain what we're doing. I agree with that. Yeah, absolutely. Good job.
Yeah, I have a question. So on your sports stories and conventions and things, are you covering any of the big tournaments that come to Golden Eagle Regional Park, Athens Parks?
I don't know if we've put an emphasis on that specifically.
Because there's a lot of local,
Yeah.
it's a complex that local sports, youth, adult, senior, but the tournaments that come in that drive over $30 million a year in economic impact, but there are constantly teams coming in from all over, some of the really big tournaments, softball.
Yeah.
That travel in here. There's some big, and maybe working or getting with our Parks and Rec or staying keyed into what we have coming up. Some of the bigger groups, and sometimes it's international. Yep.
Did you just hear Charlene say 30 million?
Yeah.
When we have not tapped into the youth sports initiative.
Yeah.
I want everyone to start thinking about that.
Well, yeah, they're determined.
And if I can add some light to that, Ben Bell, for the record, we have done some work promoting athletics and senior softball. And a lot of the events that go out there that do drive visitation. So it's definitely an important part of what we're talking about locally, but also nationally when it comes to athletics and destination.
Because really that facility, largest facility of artificial turf in the nation. People drive all the way out, they think they're going to Egypt or the Pyramid, and they come around the front of, oh my God, I have no idea how much is out there, and it's not that far out there, but yeah, and it does draw. But it's also the good thing for local PR is that it brings in those tournaments for the economic development.
Right.
People, hotels and gas and restaurants, but it also drives, is a location for all of our youth sports and adult sports and flat fields and softball and Pop Warner football. So it's community also that's out there. So it drives like every week of the year. I think there's only one weekend, maybe the whole year that we're not booked. And it happens midweek too.
That's great.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
Thank you guys.
Okay, we are gonna head into the RSCVA's Visitor Authority Department update. Mike, it's all you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Only update will be from me today, and I'll get through this so we can see the rest of the agenda relatively quickly. So first of all, as I always do, I kick off the update as it relates to our Spotlight Employee of the Month winner. I'm excited to announce that August Spotlight Award winner started her career at Visit Reno Tahoe in August of 2024 as an office coordinator and was promoted a year later to office manager. This team member executive director have the following quotes to share. Her professionalism, dedication, and strong leadership consistently make a positive impact on both her team and the broader organization. In her role, she ensures that operations run smoothly while also fostering an environment of collaboration and efficiency. Her commitment to excellence and her willingness to go above and beyond exemplify the values of the RSCVA. Whether supporting Chad in his absence as Director of Operations NBS for his new role, supporting her colleagues, streamlining processes, or taking on new challenges with a positive attitude, she demonstrates the qualities that truly deserve recognition. This award celebrates her hard work, her contributions to the success of the National Bowling Stadium, the Reno Event Center, and her ongoing role in helping the RSCVA achieve its mission. September's Spotlight Employee of the Month is Office Manager Alex Hellman. An update on some of the activity from the sales team on August 9th through 12th. I actually joined Mr. McGinnis and his team in Los Angeles for ASAE. It's an annual trade show that we attend every year. We hosted a client event at Mr. Wanderlust. Yes, that's the name. Part of the Level 8 concept in the Moxie Hotel, which is located directly across the street from the Los Angeles Convention Center. We had approximately 130 clients, hotel partners, and RSCVA sales staff. And I must say, because I walked all the other events that were happening the same night as ours, and John can help me here, but I believe there was Las Vegas had an event. Canada had an event, and I think it was Anaheim or one other, and not even close in terms of the participation, the vibe of the event, the scenery. We have definitely set the precedence and the foundation that if you were invited to an event by Reno Tahoe, you attend. We had a waiting list, literally to our event, so kudos to the team for that. Following up ASAE, we went to Connect Marketplace in Miami, and that was August 25th through 27th. I participated in a CEO panel with certain executives from Austin, Texas, and Atlantic City, New Jersey. The team itself, in terms of the one-on-one appointments, participated in over 157 appointments over 2.5 days. So very busy, speed dating its best, but a great show. And we always come out of that show with business, and this was no exception to that rule. On September 5th, we held our annual Spotlight Employee of the Year Awards banquet. Our CVA leadership joined the 12 monthly Spotlight winners, their immediate supervisors at the convention center. Kudos to Aaron, Mark, and Ray and her team for putting on a great event. The decor and the food was really well done. Great event. The 3 finalists were Nicole Duxbury, marketing coordinator, Aaron Halls from the RSCVA facilities, and Anita Summers, employee management manager. The 2025 Spotlight Employee of the Year recipient was Anita Summers. On Wednesday, September 24th, yesterday, we held our quarterly stakeholder meeting at the Convention Center. Amazing turnout. Thank you, Mr. Long, for joining us. We had representatives not only from our local hotel community in Washoe County, but we had representation for Virginia City and the Lake, Carson City. So we had a really broad participation, and both Decker Royal and Good Giant did an excellent job. So thank you very much for your presentations. Tonight, we're hosting an open house at the National Bowling Stadium from 4:30 to 6:30. We invited local businesses, hoteliers, regional DMOs, and board members will be in attendance. Renee and her, I shouldn't say Renee because she told me that her team did all the work. Came up with an amazing, really cool scavenger hunt idea. The intent of this open house is to introduce potential clients of the packages and how we are driving activity to the National Bowling Stadium. We'll be featuring the theater upstairs, the stadium club on that level, the Kingpin downstairs, and at last count, I think we were at 87 RCPs.
Yes.
So we invite you to attend if you can make it. We'd love to have you. So exciting. So really
That's
good.
awesome.
Kudos to the team as well.
Good job.
All right, jumping into production. So since we did not have an August meeting scheduled, but then we had an impromptu emergency meeting, we did not present the July numbers. So today I'll be very quickly going through production both for July and August. So first of all, on a positive note, in terms of cash room nights, we did exceed budget to prior years actually budget in August of 7,681. Average daily rate was down at, sorry, I'm on the right slide here. Yeah, average daily, hold on one second, guys. I want to make sure these are in the right order. Yeah, there you go. Sorry. Actually, I'm missing one page. Here we go. Cash room nights were down. I'm sorry, let me go back and do this right so I can start right. Okay, July 1st. So looking at production for July, cash room nights were down 2,263 versus July of 2024. However, budget was exceeded by 5,450. Average daily rate came in at $153.69, which is $3.61 lower than July of 2024, but was flat to budgeted average daily rate of $153.92. July room tax came in at $47,976,738, which was $1.48 million decrease to July actual in 2024. That being said, comparing to budget, we were $767,340 over budget with a total amount of $47,209,398. Now let's jump into August. Cash room nights were down 3,965 through August of 2024. But again, you'll see this pattern is consistent. We exceeded budget by 7,681. Average daily rate was down $339 to last year, but again, $589 over budget for August. August room tax was down, again, as you know, ADR, cash room nights is going to result in overall room tax being down. So it was down 1.778 million to below prior year in August. And again, following the pattern of against budget, we were up 3.1 million to budget for August. Going into year to date, and we will continue to do this by year to date as we go month to month throughout the fiscal year. Year to date cash room nights through August are down 5,862 to prior year. But in terms of budget, we are up 13,496 through the first 60 days of the fiscal year. Year to date average daily rate is down $3.60 to prior year actual, but $2.82 above budget the first 60 days. Room tax through August is down 3.2 million to last year, but again, up 3.9 million year to date through August. So again, July, August, very strong years to prior year actual. Budget, as you know, we came in and the board approved to be at a 3.6% deficit, but through the first 60 days, performance is outperforming budget. So we obviously hope that momentum continues throughout the rest of the fiscal year. Any questions?
Any questions? No, gosh, you guys are so easy. This can take 2 hours at a council meeting.
No wait for this process.
Those productive pre-boards.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
You're so good at what you do. Go right ahead, John. John, do you want to?
No, I was saying, I was agreeing with
You,
Steve.
so you agree, yes, yes. How about you, Art? Anything?
I'm coming up on E2.
All right, we'll wait for that. Okay, thank you so much. We don't need to take any action, I assume? No,
Just
okay. Look at you all transitioning, just, here we go.
We rehearsed
Look
the
at you.
pre-board for us.
Yeah, good, okay, I love it. Okay, with the next item, I am going to hand it over to Molly. This is you, item E1, and this is Mike Larragetta, President CO evaluation for 24 and 25. Molly, the floor is yours.
All right, so as everyone knows, according to the CEO contract, once a year, there is an evaluation of the CEO for the board to consider both a merit increase and then we had already previously done the bonus related to incentive goals that had been set by the board, but the contract also provides for an additional 5% potential bonus, discretionary bonus. This matter on the CEO evaluation, as the board knows, an executive staff survey is conducted And then that executive staff survey and Mr. Larraguetta's self-evaluation, which he will go through in just a moment, is provided in and to the board, and you conducted a board survey. The results of both of those surveys are part of your packet. The committee then, the executive and legislative committee then met and conducted an evaluation as well. The recommendations for that are also in your packet. The recommendation was that the committee was comfortable going up to a 5% merit increase, but would like to have full feedback from the entire board related to any discretionary bonus. And so that is what we are here for today. And then for that, I will turn it over to Mr. Larraguetta to provide his self-evaluation.
All right, take it away.
Thank you, Molly. I appreciate it. Madam Chair, members of the board, thank you for the opportunity to present the leadership achievements and impacts of fiscal year 25. There's so much to celebrate on what we accomplished this last year from a staff, from a board perspective, CEO, destination. I think you will see a consistent message throughout the presentation of what we were able to achieve and establish momentum moving forward. So today, this morning, I'm going to be focusing on annual production versus budget and prior year actuals, our efforts as it relates to community engagement, focus on the RSCVA employees, the prioritization and success of board communication, engagement, and collaboration, and the new initiatives that were implemented in this past fiscal year. So how do we perform in the major categories versus budget and prior year actuals? Fiscal year 25, all major segments exceeded the approved fiscal year 25 budget. Tourism sales and arts team were up 1.4%. Group sales, Mr. McGinnis, up 9% over budget. Total room tax revenue up 2.4%. Average daily rate 0.2%, and occupancy to bring home a clean sweep was up 0.5%. As I mentioned earlier, fiscal year 24 was an outstanding year in terms of overall production. When you look at the breakdown of how we performed versus actuals, again, Art and his team, again, did an outstanding job, up 10.2%. Group sales was down 4.5%, but I think it's fair to share with the board that there was a United States Bowling Congress Open Championship built into that number. We all know what the numbers and that piece of business represents for our community. Total room tax revenue down slightly at 1.3%. Again, average daily rate the same, down 1.3%. A slight dip in occupancy at 0.6%. So overall, very strong numbers versus an outstanding year in 24. When you look at estimated visitors in fiscal year 25, we were relatively flat, 3.8 million. The good news is that we have been aggressive in looking at fiscal year 26 and are forecasting an increase to 3.9 million. Fiscal year taxable room revenue actuals were just under $460 million, which exceeded our fiscal year 25 budget by 10.7 million. Fiscal year 25 average daily rate came in at 145.64, exceeding the budget ADR of 145.31. Washoe County continues to see moderate growth in room inventory, forecasting to surpass 8.1 million in fiscal year 26. The RSCVA works closely with obviously all our major stakeholders like services properties to stay on top of these numbers. Performance at our 4 facilities varied by property. At the Reno Sparks Convention Center, fiscal year 25 revenues were below prior actuals by just over 266,000. This was due to a decrease in the event attendance of north of 52,000, despite the number of events increasing year over year from 178 to 189. The Reno Sparks Convention Center overall revenues did exceed budget by over $500,000. Livestock Event Center fiscal year 25 total revenues were below prior actuals by 130,000 due to the decrease in attendance of north of 83,000, which resulted in overall occupancy by square footage also decreasing by 2.17%. Despite the declines across the board, the number of events did increase from 63 to 77. The RSLAC overall revenues were below budget by $67,000. Looking at the Reno Event Center versus prior year, fiscal year 25 total revenues were below prior year by $635,000. We've had significant discussion as it relates to budgeting and error mark versus prior year, which contributed to this large number of the deficit to prior year. Was also a decrease in event attendance of almost 59,000, and the number of events decreased from 43 to 35. The RCV overall revenues were below budget by 629,000. National Will Stadium versus prior year actuals saw fiscal year total revenues come out to be below prior year revenues by 461,000. Was a decrease in event attendance by 27,000, and occupancy square footage decreased by 4%. Although the number of events increased, kudos to Chad and his team, from 71 to 105. The decrease in the major numbers was primarily due to having the United States Bowling Congress Women's Championship in fiscal year 24. National Bowling Stadium overall revenues exceeded budget by 118,000. Turning to our fiscal year marketing achievements, paid media, partner referrals, website sessions, and social media community all exceeded fiscal year 25. Website sessions to our 4 venues exceeded approved goals, fiscal year 24 goals. I want to specifically address our paid media engagement rate and partner referrals. The national average paid media engagement rate is 5%. We finished at 17.1. Partner referrals, which are direct referrals to our stakeholders and partner websites, were up 26% year over year. Good job, Christine. Leisure segment is the largest contributor to room tax. Effective marketing and advertising to this audience is a priority. Fiscal year 25, we placed 3,955 ads in market, resulting in 67.8 million ad interactions. Leisure ad placements focus on key drive and fly markets where we have interstate access and direct air service. Coming to the meetings and convention side, we placed 449 ads in key markets, generating 3.59 million in ad interactions, focusing on ad placements in markets that again have the largest probability of contracting meetings and conventions for Northern Nevada. Telling our story and getting in front of the media was our priority this past year. These efforts resulted in 40 interviews, 275 earned media placements, the reach of 4.87 billion, and 310 backlinks that primarily link directly to our partners' websites. Visit Reno Tahoe were the recipients of several destination marketing awards. A few highlights include being named the best CDB by Smart Meetings, Website of the Year in the Best of the West Media Awards, and 3 Addy Awards for visitrenotahoe.com and advertising photography. Increasing our level of community engagement was a focus last year. We needed to educate the community about who the RSCVA is, what we do, the value we bring, why we exist, and how we support our region. I participated in 47 community engagements in fiscal year 25. Highlights include presentations to WIN, Lions Club, Spark City Council, participation in the Indie Talks at the National Automobile Museum, and my personal favorite, being a judge for the Midnight Middle School Art Show. To bring business leaders, stakeholders, board members, elected officials, and members of the community together, we implemented quarterly stakeholder meetings. Topics and guest speakers include tourism marketing, updates from the national and local public relation partners, Decker Royal and Good Giant, the indoor track grand opening, strategic plan participation and overview by On Strategy, and introduction and presentation by our new agency of record, Miles Partnership. Fiscal year 25, we implemented multiple programs to prioritize the RSCVA employees and staff. For the first time in years, we offered every employee at the RSCVA the opportunity to participate in a confidential employee survey. The results show that 84% of our employees are happy, of which 39.6% were very happy, 44.8% happy, 12.1% satisfied, and 3.5% unhappy. Content employees tend to be more engaged and committed to their work. They contribute to the satisfaction of customers and produces high quality results and teamwork. We held 2 staff appreciation events. The RSCVA holiday party took place in January with 154 participants, and the year-end summer party in July at the National Bowling Stadium was attended by 139 staff members and their families. We created the Spotlight Employee of the Month program, culminating with announcing the Employee of the Year in July. The program allows staff to recognize their coworkers for their commitment, dedication, and making a difference in the workplace. Collaborating, engaging, and communicating was key in unifying the CEO and senior staff with the RSCVA Board of Directors. Board members were invited to participate in local events, trade shows, in-market client events, in-person meet and greet with clients, and employee functions. Thank you to the board members that joined us this past year for Banana Ball, the Spotlight Employee of the Year banquet, the indoor track grand opening, Chiefs game in Kansas City, and of course, Nevada home football games. We introduced several initiatives in fiscal year 25. We contributed to 22 requests through the unsolicited request for sponsorship and funding program that was created this past year. Highlights included the Sierra Arts Foundation, Give Hope Foundation, Midtown Snowflake, Nevada Women's Fund, and the Food Bank of Northern Nevada. This past June, we announced Miles Partnership as our new agency of record. The bid process took 90 days to complete, reviewing 15 RFP submissions, 35 scoring criteria points, 6 internal and community panel members reviewing and scoring bids, and 4 in-person presentations by agency finalists. Increasing air service development fund was necessary in fiscal year 25. This line item of the budget was increased from $750,000 in fiscal year 24 to $3 million in fiscal year 25. I also participated in 3 airline headquarter visits with leadership from RTIA and EDON. We also introduced the RTX event for airline executives, meeting planners, and tourism executives. This event is centered around the American Century Golf Tournament. This past year, we had 8 scheduling and planning executives from Legacy Airlines, 16 meeting planners, and 14 tourism executives. To improve the sense of arrival at the Reno Tahoe International Airport for convention and attendees, we scheduled live music at the airport for 17 groups and special events. Our commitment to venue activation resulted in several new activities at all 4 venues. We hired a dedicated sales manager to promote and sell NBS packages utilizing the Stadium Club, King Pen, and the 177-seat theater. We successfully sold advertising and sponsorships. Regional and local artists were selected to paint murals at all 4 venues. In January of 2025, the board approved the RSCVA to take risk of contracting concerts and events at the Reno Event Center to drive activation downtown. The 14 themed public bowling days brought over 2,800 bowlers to the National Bowling Stadium and generated over 15,000 in proceeds for local and national charities. Here are pictures of the murals that were completed at all 4 venues in fiscal year 25. We will be adding additional artwork in fiscal year 26 with a goal of 1 mural being completed each quarter. Our efforts in capital improvement will lead priorities focused on technologies, efficiency, and sustainability. In partnership with the Reno Aces, we hosted the Party Animals in May. The 3-day event resulted in 3 sellouts, 26,683 tickets sold, of which 42% were purchased by fans that traveled 50 miles or more to attend the game. The inaugural indoor track season was a tremendous success, hosting 8 meets, generating almost 13,000 room nights and 133,000 in convention center revenue and an economic impact of over $6 million. Year 1 media coverage produced over 85 local and national stories, 134 million reach in total reach, and an ad value of 1.4 million. As we anticipated, year 1 success has resulted in increased demand for additional meets, team participation, room nights, upgraded competition, and economic impact in year 2. The indoor track sparked a destination-wide campaign, laying our no limits ambitious audience with running enthusiasts. The launch of Hit the Ground Running campaign helped secure a national partnership with Strava and activated influencers in our running community. In June, I say we, Christina held our first Reno Tahoe Creator Camp featuring 8 prominent influencers with a reach of 8.5 million Instagram followers. We hosted 40 attendees from 4 countries, 13 states, and 28 different cities. The statistics produced by Creator Camp were mind-blowing. Social media impressions exceeded 10 million. Engaged website traffic increased 22% year over year and generated over 30,000 website visits to the Creator Camp webpage. There were 2.2 million Reno Tahoe Instagram views, 300 plus social media attendee and creator posts, and over 2,400 at Reno Tahoe Instagram follower growth. The board of directors approved the annual and 3-year strategic plan. Our approach in writing this plan was to engage stakeholders, business leaders, RTIA, EDON, board members, senior staff, and on strategy for direct feedback to identify the priorities of our region. The process to complete the 3-year strategic plan was a 6-step, 6-month process that began in February of 2025 with board approval this past June. The approved plan is not your traditional DMO template that focuses on sales and marketing. The 4 identified priorities are urban core revitalization, venue activation, event attraction, visitor access, and organizational sustainability and performance. In conclusion, we exceeded many of our financial, sales, venue, and marketing benchmarks. We deepened our connection with the community, prioritized employee engagement, and introduced bold new initiatives that will carry this past year's momentum forward into the future. Looking ahead, the foundation we've built through a strategic plan, enhanced air service development, venue activation, and destination marketing will ensure that Reno Tahoe not only continues to compete, but thrives as a premier destination. Thank you.
Nice job.
Yeah.
Very well done. Okay, Molly, do I need to send it to you for anything? No? Okay, any questions?
Do you want me to go over what the executive and legislative?
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
Okay.
Give us some background.
The executive and legislative committee met and discussed Mike's performance, and were, of course, just as impressed as the rest of the board. We put together a memo that's in the packet that we are recommending the 5% vote or 5% merit increase as provided in the contract, but want the board to discuss the 5% bonus. And so we were in support, but we also thought it should be discussed. You'll see that Mike submitted a memo about how other CEOs have been compensated in their bonuses, and then you have this worksheet, 2 worksheets. And that also Mike, you put these together too, correct?
Actually, Lori.
Oh, Lori, excuse me, HR put these together, so you could see what other agencies do. And you also have the history of what RSCVA had done in the past, and that's in your packet on the screen, and then you have the breakdown on the spreadsheets. And so that is coming from your legislative and executive committee.
That's great. Thank you so much. It
Yes.
really, really helps when you guys are vetting it and looking over things. That it does, it makes a big difference. Great. Okay, thank you. All right, I would love for board members to weigh in for any additional feedback, discussion. No? Okay, one of the things I do want to mention that really stands out to me, it's one of the biggest drivers for me, because I think it will kill an organization faster than you can say boo, is the level of which your team is valued and heard and seen. And I'm super, super grateful, because I think you have done a lot of work in this space, in the HR department, of really checking in with your team. It really is the entire organization of your culture. And I mean, people don't want to come to work for a jerk off. You just don't. That's true. Right? It makes a huge difference. And so I love that you put that in your slide. I'm so glad that we're paying attention to it, because I just think that you just can't. That is a very difficult one to do, because it's hard to please everyone. However, I think even if they don't like you, there's a level that they might respect you and they want to come to work. They value those things. I'm not saying you in general, I'm saying as a CEO, because we can see that too, that sometimes, they might have aligned differently, but yet there's this level of respect and that they value their jobs. And, so I think to balance that is really hard. So I'm very, very glad that we're focusing on that, because I see a difference in the energy just in the room. And whenever I see people that work for us that I don't even know, unsolicited will say things are really good, we're really excited. So I think it is a testament to the reset and a new CEO, and I'm really, really glad. I hope we continue to weigh in on what our team, through all levels, from top up to bottom, that they matter and their opinion matters. And I do think it's a great way to stay on top of any CEO or any manager. Couple things, if you have high turnover, that's a red flag. And then the level of checking in with them and making sure that those are not skewed I've seen where, you know, CEOs will like to weigh that in their favor and maybe only interview 5 people or whatever. There's a lot of ways that you can do that. So making it separate from HR, I think is huge. The other thing that I think is fantastic is the level of local engagement. That is changing a lot. We did not always have the best reputation locally. We are out there, we're making a difference. And even on the Tahoe side, I think, you know, I'm really feeling like it's the first time that we hear that, you know, there is a lot of coordination. And I'm really glad to hear that. I haven't seen that in a long time, and it was something I thought we always missed. So I think it's a testament to also your love of the region and your community. But I think those are 2 big levers that I'm seeing that are dramatically different. And then the 47, what was it, local engagement? Yeah, I mean, hands down, the art show judging, best ever.
It
There's
was,
nothing like
Mayor, I must say,
pleasing
it was
kids.
intense. Christina was there.
I always say those are my favorite ones because with the kids, because
That's fair.
they don't read RGJ. So I'm like, yay. They like me. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, I just, yeah, I think that's wonderful. The only thing and just, it's not criticism, but I always like to see next time like slides of, you know, the benchmarks, and here we are, we, you know, did this, we did that. So it's very measured. I think, I'm just very visual, so I like to see those things, but I thought it was an excellent presentation. I would love to hear from the board, especially those that have been here in the past, and if those are things that are standing out to them or things that you'd like to see moving forward. So, Stephen, I'm gonna start with you if you wouldn't mind. Do you mind?
No, but I kind of, example, my name starts with an A, so I always had to go first.
I can go this way, I can go to Glenn first, we can go to you last.
Okay.
How about if we go to you last?
Either way.
You'll feel better.
I always got.
So I'll just go this way to make it easier.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
No, and I feel, again, between the legislative, or I mean, the executive committee, I feel like we've
It's good.
gone through, I feel real good on the vetting. I do, and this is really even outside of Mike, this is the overall practice of the CEO evaluation. I feel like we're more in line with where it should be, in the sense, and again, this is not to disparage past boards, I was part of that as well, but I think we're at a level where the salary to me is the salary, it's market driven. You could say you're a little high, you could say you're a little low, but that's been agreed upon and you move on, and that's part of the process when we fill the spot. I think coming in with this performance-based bonus, which we've already signed off on. There were metrics to hit. I think they were very well vetted. I think the merit pay discussion is one that we as a group agreed to the 5%, right? And again, that's open for, we're advisory only. What I like is with the discretionary, puts it another 5%, correct? But it is discretionary, and to me that is, and I think it's a reasonable number. While we're talking large numbers, I think it's very within the range. The breadth, and I know, you know, that was about a 10-minute presentation, but it really does reflect and recognize not just you, Mike, but what the organization touches on. I mean, your tentacles are in a lot of different areas. And I do think this emphasis into the community is key, because we need to explain our story. And we also need, this region was built on greatly, right? But I think maybe mining predates it, but tourism and hospitality. And so I like where we're at as just an overall package. We went back and forth on this in the original discussion. I'm comfortable going up to the 5%. I also am open to discussion if we feel that it falls under that, that's okay, but I think we're in a good place. And I feel comfortable going with the 5% discretionary as well, so.
Okay.
And
Stephen.
so, who's B? Oh, Biden?
Oh, is there some sort of?
Maybe, are we on?
Mara, did you do something? Okay, go ahead, Charlie.
You could have answered, I had the question on the committee that they had, you were recommending 5% merit. Discretionary bonus is what you want us to discuss right now. And then Molly, what was we've given the actual bonus? Is separate from the two.
Correct. Under the contract, the
That is contractual.
bonus is split into two different portions. Up to 10% is eligible for the achievement of the incentive goals, which was voted on and approved at the last meeting. So that full 10% was awarded. The contract then provides for an additional 5% discretionary bonus. And I will just say, there are two things. A merit increase goes to salary, so you would be increasing salary by whatever percentage you chose to do. The bonus is a one-time bonus payment, and under the contract, it's anticipated to be to 5%.
Thank you, as I reminding me too what the bonus was, and I knew that we awarded it already. I will say, and I love the presentation, Mike, of really, because it gave us, and I'm visual too, so really recapping, because we come to these meetings, we get so much information, so much data, and I have stacks at home in a box of all of the great stuff we get, but you kind of sometimes feel like you're drowning in it a little bit and trying to remember as we move through the year, all the things that recapping, that really helped recap. If we get monthly updates, which is important, as we know where we're moving, in a good direction, but really to summarize it like that to kind of remind me, and I guess the rest of the board, kind of what have we done this year? What have you done? What has the organization done? So I think that presentation and really how it was designed was super, super helpful to kind of even some of the things that, what I really liked, what stood out on the numbers were that we made a good decision to budget less. And then we made those numbers because we were conservative. Conservative in our budgeting as we looked at the world right now. As we looked at Las Vegas, which is really hurting right now, but I love that we were conservatively budgeting, because then the numbers that were down, when you looked at the budgeted, we were still above budget on like several categories, which I feel good about. I'm that fiscal conservative that's always watching all those dollars. And so even in a time where the economy, all of us, city and county have faced budget deficits, a lot of your businesses are facing like, how do you tighten it down, and really things are rough financially for all of us. I think I was glad to see that. And I was glad to see we're still in a good position fiscally. I loved it better the first couple of years I was on this board, when we had augmentation and had like extra money kept coming in, and we're like, oh, this is like awesome. And then when that stopped in the last year and a half, maybe 2 years, we've had to back off and really look at how we spend the money best. But and the bottom line, I think, I absolutely agree with the committee. The 5% merit is justified. The discretionary budget, I would support also. I guess I just want to make sure fiscally, are we good? Are we good fiscally? And maybe that's a Robert question, but I just want to make sure that our fiscal bottom line, that we're good. It's not a huge amount, so I would.
Well, we can always give you the budget. You can go through all of that anytime you want. So if you want data, we got it for you.
Absolutely.
Okay, go ahead, Commissioner.
I am in support as well. I think that we as a committee just wanted to make sure that we had a robust discussion about the bonus, and so.
And I appreciate you guys that you did do the work.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Long.
All right, yeah, I think that Mike has proved how important it is to hire somebody with a local knowledge. I mean, it's really been a boon for this agency, having Mike with all of his institutional knowledge from working here but also for being in the state for so long. It has really helped the reputation of the RCVA, which for a long time did not have the best reputation. And I think Mike has helped really turn that around, and I'm proud to be part of this organization with Mike at the helm. So I definitely support the extra 5% and both on salary and bonus.
Okay, thank you so much.
Good.
All right, Mr. East.
So when we, one of the other factors, and this sounds like the 5% merit is not in dispute, one of the other factors we talked about was that it had been 14 months since he had had a merit because of the duration of when the contract started.
Oh, that's right.
And so that was some of the justification for that. I struggled some with the 5% discretionary bonus. From the perspective of when we look at this on the private side, I like to look at, well, did we beat budget and did we do better than prior year? We're gonna pay more than we did prior year. Did we make more than we did prior year? And I wrestle with that, but they're a little different in, convention and visitor bureaus, because we have these ebbs and flows of various events. And so I think where I landed on the additional 5% for the bonus was the level of synchronicity that I think we have now among the board and among the staff is really greater than I've seen before. I mean, I'm really pleased with the energy and the enthusiasm. But on the hard dollar side, I also am really appreciative of the work that Mike did to drive home the USPC contract extension. And so we see what the impact was to that when we look at the numbers compared to 23, right? When we had a regular open versus women's only.
Yeah.
We saw the impact of that in room nights. To be able to negotiate that when there was competition, to do that successfully, I think speaks really well. So I also support the 5% bonus on top of 5% merit.
Okay, I'm gonna go to Mr. Carano, and then we just had a ghost visitor pop in. So we'll get to you, we'll get to you next. So go ahead, Glenn, the floor is yours.
Well, I hate to be the only dissenting person in the room here. So I won't.
That's okay. I was gonna say, Glenn, you're always the dissenter.
No,
I love how everyone's like, what?
and I feel they're saying that Mike has worked for me for a lot of years. And I really appreciate what John just said, the 5%, in the private world, if you're not making more money than we were last year, you're not gonna pay more bonuses, because if you keep doing that, you go broke, right? So, but at any rate, I really like the team Mike has put together. I've only been here for, I've been with this organization for a lot of years. I left Reno for about 5 years and came back.
You regretted it.
There's no place like home.
That's right, not the truth.
But coming back to, I fortunately volunteered to be part of the finance committee, which I'm looking forward to be part of. I get to enjoy Mr. Esquag over there for another few months anyway, right? But I actually like to look forward to how our room nights are really doing and how it does towards the bottom line. So Mike, I'm hoping on getting with you and your team through the finance committee to fully understand the room nights again. We have a beautiful community here. I mean, I've been staying in Lake Powell for the last 3-4 months, and I drive down once or twice a day to Reno, because I love it so much down here. But at the end of the day, we have a great community and we have a great team here. And it is a great team. The board is doing a great job in making sure we head the right direction. I will most definitely support both the merit and the other votes there. And
Okay.
Congratulations, Mike.
All right, I'm gonna send it to Mr. Alvisser. Hello.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Hello, everyone. Can you all hear me? Hi, great. Greetings from Krakow, Poland. I apologize, can't be there in person, but I'm excited to contribute to this conversation, and I did participate in the executive legislative subcommittee. I wanted to add a couple things to this conversation for everyone's benefit. Mr. East brought up a point that we talked at length about during the subcommittee, and that is simply that Mr. Larraguetta has been doing the job longer than this review has taken place. He actually did the role of two jobs for quite some time during that search process. And so I think it is incumbent for us to look at what was set forth during negotiations. I think the 5% discretionary and the 5% merit seem to be unanimously supported. Something that I'd love to interject here is how can we expand that merit so that it accurately reflects the time and service that Mr. Larraguetta has been here. I don't know what that exact number is. I know we're not limited by the merit at 5% per contract. We can make those decisions for his contract at the whim of us, the trustees. So I'd love for us to consider that, Madam Chair, if we can find a way to appropriately, because it's not even a real 5%. We say 5%, but if we're not taking into account, Mr. East said 14 months. I think it's actually longer than that he was doing double duty as well. And so I'd love for us to contemplate the extent of that time and see what that looks like in a true percentage.
Okay, thank you so much. How long have
Thank
you
you.
been here?
20, since interim to current is 27.
27 months. Time has flown by. I feel like that was yesterday. Okay. Ms. Yeager, Courtney, it's all you. Go ahead. Young. I got Y's on my brain. Yeager, Young, Courtney.
That's all right.
You're the wrong Courtney.
Or the right one.
You're the right one. Go ahead.
Well, thank you. Obviously, I'm newer to this board, and so it has a steep learning curve, of which I will have to give Mike some excellent credit. Him and his team have been wonderful with me, and helping me get up to speed and on board. So I appreciate that. I don't want to belabor the point. It sounds like everybody is in full agreement, but I will say for me, I think that a bonus recognizes exceptional performance without permanently altering a cost structure, which is something that I like to look at. A base increase, of course, commits us to ongoing higher expenses and benefits. And so while he's been here for 27 months in those joint spaces, I kind of consider this to be more of a turnaround period, or maybe a more newer CEO. So the base adjustment paired with a performance bonus is something that I prefer as a balanced approach. So I'm in support of that. I think my position has been consistent, as we've done this with the airport as well, that bonuses should reflect actual performance each year. So they're not entitlements. And there's something that each year's decisions stand on its own data. So I never want to be pinned into a corner on what we've done for years prior. I think that we have to be aware and thoughtful of what's happening in the broader community, what our residents are facing in terms of costs and things like that. But we certainly want to be sure that we're rewarding good performance and quality folks here. So I think that when we look at how we're retaining talent and attracting new talent, in terms of his team, it's all very important. So I'm in support as well. And I'm appreciative to Mike and his crew for all of the effort that they've put into getting me on board and up to speed. So
Okay, good. All right.
And I just had one thing that I neglected to say, and I apologize for this. So when we are considering a merit raise, it is traditionally that, because this is an evaluation of the fiscal year 2024-25, so it ends on June 30th. And then it would be the salary starting July 1, moving forward for the new fiscal year. The only reason why we're at this evaluation now is because when you end the fiscal year, it takes some time for data to come in, for you to know what that performance was, for you to be able to evaluate it. Therefore, I just want to make the whole board aware that we make that any raise that may be given retroactive to July.
Good comments. Thank you for reminding us. Okay, I'm gonna I already said my piece, except for the one thing that I remember we had a very heart-to-heart conversation, and I said to you, and I really believe this, that typically your CEO is the biggest driver of the cohesive relationship, obviously amongst your team, but I think amongst the board. And I really felt that we needed a reset with the board. I've been on here for like 10 years, and I don't wanna, it's, it's past is past, but as we head into the future, I'm really excited where we're going. I feel like we've never been in a better position. Some of you have made those other comments, I think Greg and Stephen, that really have changed. I think the way that we collaborate and communicate it's night and day. And so that really does start at the top. So I want to say thank you for that, because I felt like there was a very, very big disconnect for a long time, and we're all now rowing in the same direction. So that was my biggest fear and worry when you bring on a new CEO. How well can they work with others and work with your team to get everyone in a place where they want to engage and participate? And so I think kudos, very, very well done. With that, I'm gonna send it to your guidance or your motion, give me a motion.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I move to recommend or approve the 5% merit and the 5% bonus for Mr. Larragetta. Congratulations.
Okay, thank you so much. So I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I've got a second for Mr. East. Any discussion? Just had our discussion. All those in favor say, or go right ahead.
Sorry, Madam Chair, can I get a clarification? Does that motion include the, I guess, backdated time in which Mike has been working prior to last review?
Molly, where does that? I don't think it does.
We, again, generally the merit increase, this is a fiscal year 24-25 review. He has been working, his contract began April 25th of 2024. So there is some time there. It is up to the purview of the board, but this is a fiscal year 24-25 review. Traditionally, we do that merit increase beginning July 1st.
Yeah.
No, Madam Chair, I'm aware that this is the current fiscal year review. I'm just looking backwards. I believe it would be prudent for us to include in that percentage the compounded multiplier moving forward. And so, Molly, were you able to do the math on what that would look like, since we discussed it in exec legislative committee?
Oh, did you? You guys discussed it in there?
I didn't know.
Yeah, I was under the impression, this is where I don't think I'm in line with Mr. Alzar. I can see this going back to the July 1 cutoff of fiscal, but not going back.
Previous merit pool, so the merit pool for the staff was, for everyone who was evaluated, was in that 3x% range. Am I thinking of that correct?
Yeah, 0 to 3% with, but they do have the ability to, if we have an employee that has exceeded and demonstrated unbelievable performance in the year prior, they can go and request additional above the 3% through me.
Okay. So the thought was, if we looked at that top 3% and we added the additional months, that's what got us to the 4 that we rounded to a 5, is what I seem to recall from the committee meetings. That would.
Correct, remember.
Correct. Okay.
Oh, follow the guide, your meeting.
That's what I remember. And Mr. Larragetta, you also got a bonus as a sales VP, correct? And so I do, and did we compensate you for interim? Did we give you money for interim?
You did, so
Okay.
Once the interim, Molly helped me there, I don't remember the exact, once the interim period ended.
Yeah, I don't know the numbers that you were compensated, but it has been, and again, historically, that whenever we have an interim, for example, we had somebody who was an interim that did not become the CEO, they were provided a bonus with respect to, for compensation for that interim period. Mr. Larragetta was compensated for that, as well as his contract did provide, because he was moving from that vice president role to the CEO role and would be going through. We wanted to take care of what that bonus for that VP of sales position would be, that he'd be entitled to make sure that he was compensated for that. That was done. And so I did rewatch the video of the meeting for the executive and legislative committee when in drafting the recount from the committee to the board. There wasn't discussion related to the 0 to 3%, saying 4%, and then moving up to 5% was also in recognition of the fact that there are a few extra months of performance as the CEO. And that's pretty standard, happens when you have somebody start in the middle of a fiscal year. And then we do the review maybe a longer period of time. From this point forward, the review will then be annual.
It will be, okay.
Yes.
I think that'll be helpful.
And it's just what happens when you have somebody start mid-fiscal
Yeah,
year. You don't
right,
have enough
right,
data to
Right, that's
evaluate
true.
somebody from April to June.
That's true, right, okay. All right. Directions.
Motion.
That,
You need a second, you've got a second.
So,
and
then I will-
Eddie's asking, you want me to change my motion, Eddie? You're asking for that as part of the
I'm sure
discussion.
Commissioner Hill, I was sort of getting like, could that 5% start at a time that's reflective because it's compounded in his salary, correct? And so that was sort of what we were looking at, is how do we attribute for the time that in between time? That was what I was hoping maybe Molly would have brought in how do we reconcile that?
But I apologize, I in reviewing the committee meetings, that was never made clear that we were looking to have a math, and so I apologize, I don't have any information.
Is
on
it
how that was-
possible to reconcile that, Molly?
Well, it is within the merit increase, however, the merit increase wants to be done, can be done at the discretion of the board. So, if the board would like to, for example, move the start date of the merit increase from July 1 back to April, and this might be an accounting issue, I am not sure. There's other alternatives. You can provide a bonus if you wanted to. It's discretionary with the board.
But you said there was a bonus attached to that interim, no? Yes?
Yes, Mr. Larragetta has also confirmed that he had received compensation related to the timeframe that he ran as interim. But this is where he was CEO from April 25th, 2024. That's when his CEO contract started. So there's the end of April, May, and June. So two
It's not
months
very
and a
long.
week.
It's not
9
very long.
weeks or so.
Okay. Finance. Is that? The wizard. The smartest person in the room, Mr. Chisel, take it away.
Good morning, Robert Chisel for the record. Again, as Molly had stated, the board could do whatever it pleases. We could calculate it back to any date you please, and we'll be able to calculate the retroactive to whether it's July 1,
Okay.
May 1,
So
April 1.
it's 2.5 months, am I right?
April 25th through June 30th, so about 9
Additional
weeks.
3 months.
Yeah.
3 months, okay. All right, well, 2 months.
Yeah.
I cannot count it.
So,
So we could go back.
This is like exactly what I hoped would not happen, because I was like, that's what.
Why don't I just,
memo and make
here's
it
what I'll do.
awkward.
Why don't you want me to just make a motion?
Yes,
Okay.
I mean, I have a motion.
So I was gonna,
You want me to withdraw it?
I was gonna say, I would prefer to withdraw it. Do you mind?
Yeah, before we do, I mean, I do think we need to be sensitive to precedent that we're setting here too, right? So I guess if we argue that this is a contracted position and none others are, then perhaps not, but otherwise, we're setting up. We're actually going back and retroing beyond the time that the employee had the official title, but was in an interim role, right? I mean, I think we need to be careful about how we do this. Unless we're gonna be consistent with it moving forward. And I mean, consistent as an organization. perhaps not just as a board, I'm not.
Yeah. And I do worry because we have done things in the past where it ends up rolling over and then people say, well, this is what you did in the past, and I get that. I also think that, it's always, I think I mean, you could look at it also differently too and saying different performance and different metrics and different measures, right? So there is two schools of thought there for sure. I just feel like you had a lot on your plate to kind of put us on a different trajectory. I really do. I felt that it was really hard for me to want to stay on the board and just I kind of like, I think we all had a vision of like what that could look like. So anyway, going back to, I see both sides of making it very clean, to your point, for sure. And then I also see, you know, I feel like we also are really grateful for, you know, I think turning so much around and bringing in a new team and all those things. And I think those are very, very valuable as well. So it's, and also, and you guys know me, I'm the one that always says the elephant in the room. And, you know, I think it's hard too, because we all have great respect for you and really enjoy you as well as a person. And so it also becomes very awkward of, we don't want you to feel that we don't value you.
Yeah.
And I know that money sometimes equates to that, and that's unfortunate, right? So,
Madam Mayor, can I say something real quick? I support the recommendation that came out of the Executive Legislative Committee that went through and vetted this whole discussion, came up with the recommendation that the commissioner made of the 5% merit and the additional discretionary bonus. So I feel like we've covered with the discretionary, we've added that extra.
So
We've
here's what
added-
I'm gonna do.
We've added, and I love the fact that we're able to do that here. I don't see 2 months of going
So
backwards.
here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make this very easy on everyone, so you can all vote your conscience and how you feel. I think we move forward. You tell me, Mr. Legal over here. What I'm thinking is, Alexis just put a motion on the table. I would like to move forward with that motion, and then after that, we can make another motion for the extension of the 3 months, almost 3 months, Molly, correct? So we keep it very separate and very clean, and
So I think as the motion stands now, it's 5%
Yeah.
bonus, 5%
5%
merit,
merit, yeah.
retroactive to July.
yes.
And then you would do another.
Then I'm gonna do, yes,
Make
I'm
it
gonna make it
retroactive.
clean and make that very separate so that we are not getting in the crosshairs of, you know, mixing and matching both different, they're very different.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Yeah, so, okay, so I had a motion, I had a second, we had discussion. All those in favor of the 5 and 5, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, now I'm gonna introduce a new motion, and that would be to compensate Mr. Larragetta for the approximately 3 months.
Why is it 3 months? It's 2 months and
Well,
5 days.
2 months, oh, is it 2 months or
It's
5 days?
April 25th, it would be April 25th to
Yeah,
June
I can't
30th.
count.
And I just wanna seek clarity on what the motion could be.
Yeah.
You could calculate, Mr. Chisel could calculate if you wanted to do a quote unquote merit, merit raises are increases to salary.
Yeah.
You could do a 5% of salary that would have been earned from April 25th to June 30th.
Right.
As essentially an additional bonus amount. Or you
And that-
could add it, you know, calculations then get tricky if you add it
6 of 5.
to,
Wouldn't the easiest be not up in salary, but just as a
bonus.
Yeah,
So it's 5.88%.
Right, yeah. Okay, so.
So we're agendized today to award a bonus of up to 5% of salary, which we've already done. And so rather than classifying this as a bonus, I think it would be a motion to basically make that retroactive date April, whatever the exact day is.
Yeah.
So instead of going back to July 1 with the bonus, we're gonna go all the way back to that April date. I think that's the cleanest way to handle it, so then we're not exceeding the bonus in the agenda.
And the salary does not move.
It would be the 5% merit increase, but instead of starting on July 1, it's starting on April 25th.
And that would be the salary, the one that adds to
The
the
five,
salary.
yeah, so his new
Okay.
salary would start April 25th of 2025 moving forward.
But the compound rate is still 5%.
5%.
It's just the extension of time
Right.
that.
Exactly.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so there is my motion.
Just to make the
Yes, so
retroactive date of the
Which one am I
5%
going?
merit increase, April 25th,
Correct.
2025.
What he said. Okay, so that, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion there?
Yeah,
Go right
since
ahead.
we're calling elephants in the room.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I'm with Alexis, I so didn't want it to go here.
Yeah.
Because this is such a positive, right? First off, it's always awkward, we were laughing about this in the executive, any type of open forum. All supportive, but this is what's wrong in many ways with this whole process. And I'll go back to last month's meeting where this was on the, on the what?
The 10%.
On the 10%, we painstakingly as a group from past procedures went through this weighted bonus structure, right? I think it came up to, I don't know, 8.5%, 9%. And we basically, the comment was we're stepping over pennies or dollars to save pennies. But there's a process in place, right? And the process is to be fair to both parties.
Yeah.
I'll go with it, but this is I think we need to be mindful. And the president, this should be a celebration. This is a very positive thing.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
And we muck it up.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think then we feel that we run the risk of showing Mike, we value you when we take something off the table like this. Right? To be honest with you.
This is great.
Keep-
Crazy opposite.
I do.
I was just trying to keep it clean on the people that really felt that it should be there. I don't think, Mike, I don't think there's anyone in this room that doesn't believe that you should be compensated for it or worthy of it. Right? But it does. I can see, Stephen, you have some very, very valid points. I think it ruins the celebration, and puts everyone in sort of an awkward position. And I just feel like none of us want you to feel that way because I know you don't, but I think, Stephen, to your point, you make such good, call outs.
Well, I should have brought it up last meeting and I did. And we went with it.
Yeah,
And that's okay.
I think we need
but-
to fix that moving forward. So that we don't feel like we're in these positions where someone in the room doesn't feel valued or they're, different. Because I am grateful for the unanimous vote of support. I think that speaks volumes.
Yes.
So, okay, we will not do this again. But we will take a vote, I guess. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And all those opposed. All right. Motion carries. All right.
Markers.
Yeah. You must be very, very well liked. So I am sorry for the uncomfortable conversations, but I think, Stephen, you make great points, and it doesn't matter if you're there, Mike, or someone else by another name. So this is just a generalized conversation that I think the board, as we move forward, needs to be considerate of, because it's not fair. I don't think it's fair for anyone that's
I
in
just wanted
in the CEO position or on the board. Okay,
Mayor, can I just say, just thank you to the board for the discussion, the support, myself, the team. It's been an unbelievable pleasure this last year and the 27 months and the 8.5 years I've been in this organization, and so proud to represent Reptile. Thank you.
well, that means a lot. We love to hear that. And we all feel the same way, obviously. And we really, really, really appreciate your team, because they're rock stars. You guys are amazing. And I just love how they have this like enthusiasm for the region and what they do. And honestly, bringing on people like John and Chad, I mean, you guys have been awesome. And And the quiet one over here, but he's not gonna be so quiet any longer, is Art, and I love to hear what Art's doing, but he's quiet, and he's humble. And Art, you have done a tremendous job from the get-go. I mean, you've been here, has it been 8 years too?
8.5.
Wow.
My first
Remember
hire.
when we
Yeah, my
were in
first
the
hire.
dark, we were in the dark room across the, yeah, remember that room?
Oh, yeah.
So I remember, okay, I'm gonna hand it to you, Mike, because I think you're gonna take us into the next item.
Yes, Madam Mayor. So we are on E2. We had some great discussion in pre-boards, so hopefully there won't be too many questions. What E2 is in regards to is, it was brought to our attention after the end of the fiscal year that one of our major stakeholders was allocating room nights in an incorrect, what we call a bucket or a segment within their hotel. They were allocating room nights from the youth sports segment into the motor coach segment. Youth sports should go to group, motor coach goes to leisure. So therefore, the numbers that particular property was reporting to us were misstated. So the first thing we did, is we brought it obviously to Mr. Kennedy's attention. We backed out those room nights in terms of the credit that was given to both myself, and my goal is represented within my 7 or 8 goals, Mr. McGinnis's goal, and then obviously Art and the tourism team on their goal. Once we backed out those room nights, we wanted to make sure that the goals were still achieved and that there was no concerns about payment that was issued to anybody for hitting those goals. We validated that, Ben validated that, and so there was no issues on that. Why we're bringing this to your attention today is the actualized number at the end of the fiscal year for total room nights from leisure segment has to be adjusted and considered for establishing the new goal, because we use that final actual number and the percentage increase for fiscal year 26 to determine the goal for 26. So now that we backed out those numbers from 25, it modified and changed the goal for 26. There's my.
Thank you, Mike. Are there any questions or
The
comments?
executive committee had no problem with this, so we unanimously voted in approval, just so you know, as the vice chair.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Okay, are there other comments or questions from any of the board members knowing the recommendation from the executive and legislative committee? Okay, this is slated for possible action. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, is there further discussion? We have a motion and a second. Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing none, it passes unanimously. We'll move on to item E3. Is this Ben?
This is me. So if everybody recalls at the last meeting, we went through the board policies and procedures. There were a few sections that were flagged for board discussion. I've taken those comments and incorporated them into what's in front of you in your packet here, the revised policies and procedures. I'm happy to proceed however the board wants. If you want me to do one by one through all of them, I can. If you've had a chance to look at them, if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer those questions.
I was curious, can we make changes to this as it is today, or we can only approve the changes that we've had?
I can revise them further if you want to approve them subject to further revision.
Yes, I'm just wondering if we should add BPs in this, just as far as the executive and legislative committee making recommendations. I'll find the page where it is.
So I think it's in, this is Molly, we asked for the record. If you look at page 5 of the policies, it's policies 1.04, which is responsibility of board members and board committees. I think the one question was that if there were ever instances where related to an individual in a vice president or a role that reported directly to the CEO, where it would be in the agency's best interest to have the board make decisions related to that, or the committee. I think the board would have to act because the committee is just advisory. That we add language into those responsibilities of the board to do so. Is that what you're?
Yes, that's what I'm suggesting is like something that maybe you bring back to us, but I'm happy to make a motion for all the changes you've made for the board recommendation from the last meeting.
Okay, that might be easiest and then we can work on the language, the changes. If we bring back, we can, but then at least we'll have the full, complete approved set.
Great.
Okay, so you have a full motion
Yes.
to approve as presented?
Yes.
Okay, is there a second?
Sure. Second. Didn't you second it or no?
No, I did like.
That was you.
I did the last
Oh,
one.
I'll second.
Okay. Thank you. Is there further discussion on the
I
motion?
think just bringing back that recommendation for the next time we get together.
Right, motion to approve with the direction to bring back the revised set of policies to include vice president.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Further discussion on that or any discussion? Right, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that passes unanimously with direction to Mr. Kennedy. All right, so this is, we are on item F, which are board member announcements, reports and updates. Are there any member announcements, reports or updates? All right, we'll move into items.
Do you have airport?
Well, I can, if you would like. I never know. I asked about this in pre-board, you know, are we doing this every time? Okay.
They always gave us one.
All right.
Richards, so, you know.
I'll keep it brief. So there are a couple of things. August, we at the airport boasted 490,000 passengers, which is the strongest performance that we've had in that month in terms of passenger count since September 2005. So I think that's a really important story. And I would also like to mention that on behalf of the airport, we want to thank the RSCVA marketing team. They have worked to put together some wall coverings that will sort of highlight, they'll be in the concourses and they will take over bare or previously outdated decor. This is the No Limits campaign and Christina's team has personalized that for the airport and we're really excited to see that. And then I will say that between now and our next board meeting, we are holding the groundbreaking event for the Ground Transportation Center. And this is something that we are really excited about. That's October 22nd. Invitations will be forthcoming, but I would like you to all save the date for that. That's our P3 project and a much needed part of our infrastructure to get the return of our 600 plus parking spaces returned to us. And get this new facility built. So we're really excited about that. So now we will move on to item G, which would be public comment. Are there any public comment?
No public comment at this time.
All right. Item H would be adjournment. Do I need a motion for that?
You do.
Oh, excellent. I'll just be the boss then.
Thank you.